You gave a speech, sir, a wonderful speech at Warwick to some undergraduates. It was just a great, simple speech. The economy is an extremely complicated mechanism. Are we getting more complicated because of rising inflation? Rising inflation in Germany, rising inflation for different reasons in the United Kingdom, and suddenly a lift in inflation in America?
It was very complicated when the inflation rate was negative and very low. We have a target of 2% inflation, and we're heading in that direction. And so it's not making life more complicated at the moment. Very high inflation, which of course we will do what we have to prevent, could complicate the situation, but we're not there by any means.
How do you define high inflation? Not of Walter Heller, of another time and place. I look at Dennis Lockhart, who will join us on Bloomberg later today. The Atlanta Fed numbers, sticky inflation, the Dallas inflation, the Cleveland inflation. What is the number, the statistic that begins to suggest high inflation?
Our target is 2%. Obviously, you don't hit it exactly. You hope to be very close to 2%. We're as worried about being below as being above. You know, it's something which is, if you're very close to 2%, it's not a problem. If it's significantly above, you begin to worry and you begin to act.
Part of our relationship over the years at Davos and at other important meetings has been, I really don't talk to you about the parlor game, but I unfortunately have to today. I believe there is an Ides of March meeting, a March 15th meeting. We saw Jan Hatzius and Goldman Sachs change their probabilities of what the Fed will do. Not specifically what will you do at the March meeting, but does this new inflation dynamic change the cadence of 2 or 3 rate increases as we go to the end of the year?
Well, I don't want to give you numbers on
Sure.
two or three, but this is consistent with what we had thought should be happening around now. That is that we'd be moving closer to the 2% inflation rate, and that the labor market would continue to strengthen. If those two things happen, we'll be on the path that we more or less expected.
So important is the idea of moving through the year for your Fed within the politics of Washington. As I'm sure you're aware, Washington's in turmoil. My colleague Michael McKee was talking to me yesterday about how the Fed acts differently as you go to year end. This year end of 2017, I would suggest is different than any other year end you've seen. Maybe you will leave, maybe Chair Yellen will leave. Is there a political mix to the pressures you face in meetings later this year?
We really do not make political decisions. We take into account what is happening in the economy, what people think about, and what might happen to policy. But we're not going to make our decisions on the basis of what pressures we're getting politically. We have targets.
Right.
We're aiming to get the targets.